Today is our last full day in Hong Kong and we explore Kowloon Park, then a walk to the Star Ferry terminal and over to Wan Chai, where we walk along the promenade, returning on the central Star Ferry. It's then a short walk back to the hotel whilst we take a look at the Avenue of Stars in daylight. I'll tell you something, this was a really budget friendly day. Just left the hotel, had a really nice breakfast. You get a variety, you probably saw one of our other vlogs, but you get a variety of food, both Asian and also more traditional Western type food. And it's nice to mix and match them up and have something that's a bit different. Anyway, this morning it's slightly overcast, but it threatens to be quite a nice day. Temperatures aren't as high as they have been before we arrived, and I must say it's been quite a nice temperature the whole time we've been here. It's our last day today and I'm on my way to Kowloon Park. The idea is to go to Park, have a look around there, and then go over to the Star Ferry terminal and catch the ferry over to Wan Chai, and then take a walk around the bay on the other side before catching the Star Ferry back. So the walk from the hotel to Kowloon Park was about 20 minutes and reasonably direct. We will be arriving in the southeast corner of the park where the Kowloon Mosque resides. This was built in 1984, replacing a previous mosque. It's able to hold about 2,000 worshippers and makes an impressive building with its dome roof and 4 minarets. Here we are at Kowloon Park, and you can probably hear the sound of the fountains that are going on in the background. Anyway, I'm going to have a little bit of an explore. First stop will be, I think, the lily pond, and I think that's the sound of the fountains that we currently hear. But let's go on up. The area around the park is Kowloon's busiest shopping area, as well as home to a number of businesses. The park formerly housed an army fortress for an Indian regiment of the British Army. It has then been built in a traditional Chinese style and is a peaceful oasis in the surrounding hustle and bustle. It is open from around 5 o'clock in the morning until midnight and entirely free to get in. This is one of the largest parks in Hong Kong, but unlike parks in the UK, they're not massively unstructured green spaces, but include a series of carefully landscaped, thought through, manicured and themed areas. Currently in the main part of the lily pond, and that is an L-shaped patio, but there is also an octagon patio which can be reached through a different entrance. The pond itself is full of turtles and it's interesting to watch what they get up to.
would be very easy to miss this space if you didn't know it was there in the park. This is a life-size bronze entitled The Concept of Newton, and is very similar to a much larger piece that's outside the British Library, as well as a similar piece at the Scottish National Gallery of Modern Art. Around this area is also Conservation Corner, where there's been a deliberate ploy to cut down on the number of pesticides and attract more natural life and birds. Kowloon Park boasts some 70 different species of wild birds. So up some stairs from the Concept of Newton, you arrive at the Sculpture Walk and Garden. The whole area here is paved, but is surrounded by an abundance of greenery and trees. In this area you will find something around 20 different sculptures by both local and international artists. Each sculpture has the name of the artist emblazoned on it. As well as looking and admiring each individual sculpture, there were many groups and individuals undertaking Tai Chi, a popular pastime in Hong Kong. Periphery of Sculpture Walk, you will find a number of alcoves, and each alcove has some seating where one can rest and watch the world go by.
So that was Sculpture Walk, and you can see why it was named that. There were lots of very interesting sculptures there and a lot of meditation that was going on, a lot of yoga both singularly and in classes. So let's see what the next corner brings. So now we have the maze. So those things are sort of a bit lost on me. Well, I've made it into the centre of the maze. It's a little bit easier when the hedges are only about 3.5 foot high. You can easily see over the top. But now to make it out. So this is the pool pavilion, and it's a sculpture by David Watson, and it looks quite incredible. So this is the water garden within Kowloon Park. Immensely powerful fountain, as you no doubt saw. Very tranquil space, nice for meditation, nice just to sit there and relax. Loads and loads of seating area, both looking at the fountain and also there's a sort of raised bit that you can sit on, which leads up to the fountain, so the fountain will be behind you. Very nice. Anyway, now let's explore a little bit further and see where we go. So this is the Chinese gardens within Kowloon Park, which seems to be a series of two interlinked ponds, both of which are absolutely full of turtles basking in the sun on the various bits of wood that are inside. Again, a very nicely laid out garden. You've got some traditional Chinese housing, and you've got these imported rubber trees which make a very ornamental look, very fibrous look to the whole environment. You can see one of them just behind me here. So up this way there is a Chinese pavilion.
Chinese garden in Kowloon Park is probably one of the most tranquil and peaceful parts of the park. It's really nice to sit down, listen to the birds, take in the sounds of the water and look at the superb landscaping and vegetation that's around this area.
Lovely guy playing the violin. The song is an old Romanian song and it's about Romania, and he tells me it's from a time before it succumbed to capitalism, when it was a communist country. Really interesting. So I think the next place that I will visit is the Aviary, and from all of the chirping that's going on, I imagine it's very near.
So this is a Bucharus rhinoceros.
Nice. Difficult to film the birds, but they were truly beautiful to see, and it's very well catered for, lots of seating space. So that was the Aviary at Kowloon Park, and now I'm on my way down the stairs from the Aviary, and there's another set of ponds just around the corner that I spied from the Aviary that I'm planning on visiting now. Let's see. So here we have a map of Kowloon Park showing all of the facilities that are here. Pause it and you will get some more detail.
One of the principal attractions at Kowloon Park is Bird Lake. This consists of Flamingo Lake and a pool that's dedicated to waterfowls. Both are heavily landscaped and both apparently give you a really nice display. It's just unfortunate at the time that I went that they were doing some renovations and there weren't very many flamingos, if any, around to see at that time.
Here we have a map of Kowloon Park. So I enjoyed my time in Kowloon Park. It makes a real change from the buzz of the city. It's a very tranquil and quiet place. Lots of people doing interesting things, meditation, yoga. There's a man playing violin. Very nice, absolutely. Now I'm going to wander my way towards the Star Ferry. Sorry, that's a bit of a mouthful, wasn't it? To Star Ferry Terminus and get the terminal, get the ferry across. One of these days I'll spit my words out. Get the ferry across to Wan Chai and then walk around the other side. I've got the Royal Pacific Hotel behind me and I'm looking out to sea.
I exited the west side of the park, went over a small bridge which went over the road, and then found myself in a raised area looking down on the road and the harbour, but with no obvious way to get down. So backtracking, I managed to find a small door which seemed to lead me into a shopping centre. So this area includes Harbour City, which is one of the largest and busiest shopping malls in Hong Kong. Boy, was it hot this day. It was the only day that I've forgotten to take out a hat, and it was absolutely scorching. I went out to try and see if I could buy another one, but the prices were astronomical. The cheapest I was able to find was in excess of £100. I gave that idea up and went back to my first plan, which was to get on the ferry. From Kowloon, the Star Ferry will cross Victoria Harbour to one of two locations, either Wan Chai or Central. My plan was to go across to Wan Chai. Once there, I'd walk around the headland to Central and then pick up the return ferry back to Kowloon. The ferries were double-decker. I elected to go out on the upper deck and come back on the lower deck as I wanted to experience both sides of it. Seating is incredibly hard and you can actually position the backrest either to face forward or rearwards depending upon the desired direction. The journeys aren't long. Probably getting on and off takes as much time as the actual journey, but it gives you an interesting insight into Victoria Harbour and is extremely budget friendly. This area is called Harbour Chill and is almost immediately as you come out of the Wan Chai ferry terminal. The overall vibe is a very relaxed space here, and it's supposed to be remnant of a backyard garden. There are some iconic plastic or resin sculptures, and there are also a number of pop-up installations where one can chill out and relax and watch the world go by. Bauhinia is a genus of a large number of flowering plants. It is also the symbol that was given to the Hong Kong Special Administration that was set up in order to see Hong Kong handed over to the Chinese government.
Okay, so I've just left the blooming golden Bauhinia. I think that's what you call it, not necessarily how you pronounce it. And basically this was a presentation that was made by the Hong Kong Special Administration to the Hong Kong people to commemorate the formation of the special arrangements, which, if I remember rightly, is 1997.
Now on the harbour front promenade, which is the main connecting route between Wan Chai and Central. One side there's fantastic views overlooking Victoria Harbour, and on the other side there are narrow strips of green that separate the promenade from the main road. In those areas of green you will find various locations where you can sit down, relax, and once again watch the world go by. There's a theme on this, isn't there?
Well, so much for the weather forecast. It said it was going to be cloudy and overcast, and it is by far the hottest day that we've had. Anyway, waiting round from Wan Chai ferry terminus over to the other ferry terminus at Central, where I plan on getting the Star Ferry back. I can see the Ferris wheel in front of me, so I'm heading towards that general direction. One of the things I've found as I've been going along is free Wi-Fi points. That's basically an advert that says Wi-Fi point here. You just connect to accept the terms, don't have to pay a cent, and you get free Wi-Fi, which has been quite a useful way for me to keep in contact with what's going on.
Before you get to the set of piers that exist in Central, you come across the Hong Kong observation wheel. This wheel is lit up at night and looks absolutely fantastic against the backdrop of buildings, often a bright red colour. This is the fourth version of the central terminus for the Star Ferry, and was somewhat controversial due to its mock Edwardian design. After a short journey, we arrived back on the Kowloon side of the harbour, and now it's going to be a quick stroll back to the hotel. But as we go, I'm going to take in the Avenue of Stars and see what that looks like in the daylight. Already it's fairly obvious that the Avenue of Stars during the day is considerably less busy than it is at night. I'm pleased to say that I've now found the Bruce Lee statue. Much easier to see in daylight as it was hidden behind the crowds when I came at night time. Not quite what I expected, but a lovely statue. So having come back on the Star Ferry from Central back into Tsui, I decided to look at the Aviary of Stars. So a nice walk round from Wan Chai to Central, and then a hop on the ferry and back over to the Kowloon side of Hong Kong. I've just done a quick stroll round the Avenue of Stars, which looks very much different to the way it looked at night, the first time we arrived. Still going on, but it's easier. You can see some of the attractions. I actually found the Bruce Lee statue, something I completely failed to do. Waited too long the first night. I was looking at the Symphony of Lights. So now it's to make it back to the hotel, the Intercontinental, and then get ready and go out for a meal in the evening. So these footprints going across what is a very fast and main road, they're really useful. Lift nicely gets you up here, you don't have to walk too far, and then you cross the road with safety. It also gives you quite a nice view overlooking the various parts of Victoria Harbour that you don't quite appreciate in the same way from when you're down on the ground.